Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel Learn with Us. Today I'm going to discuss part 2 of July month current affairs of 2023 and before watching this video do watch the part 1 video which I've already posted on my YouTube channel and if you like my content don't forget to hit that like button and please do share these videos with your friends and fellow aspirants and don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Now starting away with environment section, I've already completed half of the July month current affairs. Now starting with environment current affairs. The first topic is Biological Diversity Amendment Bill 2023. So recently, this bill was introduced in the Parliament, replacing the earlier Biological Diversity Act of 2002. So, what is this Biological Diversity Act of 2002? So, before going to that, let us discuss about Convention on Biological Diversity (CBD). CBD, if you remember, this is one of the outcome of the Rio Earth Summit of 1992. If you remember 1992 Rio Earth Summit, under this the outcomes are three. First one is UNFCCC and second one is UNCBD, Convention on Biological Diversity, and the third one is UNCCD, Climate Change and Desertification. So one of them is Convention on Biological Diversity, and this is a legally binding treaty. And goals of this treaty are conservation of biological diversity, sustainable use of its components, and fair and equitable sharing of benefits arising from the genetic resources. And few agreements in relation to CBD are Nagoya Protocol on Benefit Sharing, Cartagena Protocol on Biosafety, and Nagoya Kuala Lumpur Supplementary Protocol on Liability. If you remember, access and benefit sharing, this word is related to Nagoya Protocol on Benefit Sharing. So this Biological Diversity Act of 2002. So this act was introduced in our country in compliance with this CBD. So after signing the treaty, after signing this treaty, India introduced this act in our country. So same, the aims are similar to this conservation of biological diversity and sustainable utilization of its elements and ensure just and fair distribution. So the BD Act of 2002 provides a three-tiered mechanism comprising NBA at national level, SSB at the state level, and BMC at the local level. And it also provides a sharing of benefits of with the biodiversity conservers and holders and creators. And these benefits may include in various forms like monetary compensation, intellectual property rights, and technology transfer, etc. So this significance of the bill, the recently introduced bill to replace the BD Act of 2002, significances are is to reduce the pressure on wildlife medicinal plants and by encouraging the cultivation of the medicinal plants and facilitate fast tracking of the research, patent application, and process for transfer of research results and encourage Indian systems of medicine and bring more foreign investments in the chain of biological resources. So here they have given a comparison between the Biological Diversity Act of 2002 and the proposed bill of 2023. So in regarding with the exemptions, the BD Act of 2002 requires uh, prior approval or intimation to the regulatory authority for accessing the biological resources. Here, it exempts Ayush registered practitioners and local people and communities of the area, including the growers and cultivators of the biodiversity, from prior intimation to the state biodiversity board or accessing biological resources from commercial utilization for commercial utilization also. So nothing earlier they have to even for accessing any biological resources they have to get the approval from the regulatory bodies, but they have exempted, this bill has exempted few categories of people from obtaining the approval. Next, approval for intellectual property rights. Earlier, the Act specified that before applying for IPR, National Biodiversity Authority has to give some approval. But now, not before applying, but before the actual grant of the IPR, you need to require the approval of the NBA. Next, benefit sharing. Earlier, the users of the biological resources and associate knowledge uh, to share the benefits with the local communities. They have to share the benefits with the local communities. Like I've said here, in different forms, be it monetary compensation, intellectual property rights, etc. But now, this bill has exempted few users from sharing the codified traditional knowledge. Next, offenses and penalties. Earlier, it was punishable up to 5 years or a fine or both for any violations. But now, this bill decriminalizes the offenses and it introduces a penalty between 1 lakh and 50 lakh. Okay, and if the violation still continues, then it may also attract an additional penalty of 1 crore rupees. So there is no point of arresting or something like that. They will not be put in jail. Next, expansion of the NBA. Earlier, the NBA used to have 10 ex officio members and 5 non-official members, but now it has extended to 16 ex officio members and with 4 representatives from the state biodiversity boards and 5 non-official members who include specialists and also scientists and 1 member secretary. Okay, so these are the provisions provided under the bill, and there are few issues which were flagged by people that this provision of not share exempting the users from sharing the codified traditional knowledge is not fair because local communities are not given the share that they are they are the local communities and the growers will not be given the benefits, something like that, and there is no actual definition of the codified traditional knowledge and something, etc. Actually, these things are not much important for the prelims, so that's why I'm not going much into detail. And the next topic is protection of the plant varieties and the farmers' rights, PPVFR. So recently, the Delhi High Court dismissed an appeal filed by the PepsiCo India Holdings against a 2021 order revoking PIH's registration of a potato variety FL 2027. So this FL 2027 is a variety of potato which was also called as FC5. It was introduced by Pepsi in 2009 through contract farming agreement. So this FL 2027, also known as FC5. Okay, this variety was registered under the PPVFR Act of 2016. And in what happened is in 2019, this PepsiCo company sued some farmers in Gujarat for illegally growing the registered potato variety, saying that they have violated its IPR. So in 2021, the registration of the FL 2027 was revoked on the grounds that of furnishing incorrect information and infringing of the farmers' rights. So the registration given to FL 2027 was revoked, and recently the Delhi High Court also uh, dismissed the appeal of the PepsiCo India Holdings, and it Delhi High Court also supported the revoking of this registration. Okay, what is this PPVFR Act of 2001? So this PPVFR Act of 2001, it is enacted in relation to TRIPS agreement, and the act also conforms with the International Union for Protection of New Varieties of Plants, 1978. What is this UPOV? It is an international convention for the protection of the new plant varieties. Okay, so yeah, in confirmation with the TRIPS and UPOV, this act was enacted, and it is the only IPR legislation in the world which grants intellectual property rights not only to the plant breeders but also to the farmers. Okay, so objective is to facilitate the growth of seed industry and also accelerate agricultural development, etc. And the protection period is for trees and vines, it is 18 years. For other crops, it is 15 years. And for extant varieties, it is 15 years. And there are different authorities and institutions under this act. PVPAT. The PVPAT, it's nothing but Plant Varieties Protection Appellate Tribunal. And the decisions of this appellate tribunal can be challenged in the High Court. And if there is any case, the PVPAT, the tribunal has to dispose within 1 year. And it was established, the PPVFR authority was established by under the Department of Agriculture and Cooperation under Ministry of Agriculture. Okay, so these are the rights given to the breeders and also to the researchers are. Breeders have the exclusive rights to produce, sell, market, distribute, import, and even export a protected variety. Researchers can also use the registered varieties that are given under the Act. And for farmers, they can save, use, sow, resow, exchange, share, or even sell the farm produce, including the seeds of the variety protected under this Act. And in the case of non-performance of variety, the farmer shall be compensated. Okay, so what is the difference between the patent and PPVFR Act? So under the patent, the exclusive rights are granted by the state, be it it means the national government, whereas uh, the rights are given to the farmers, breeders, and researchers, besides giving protection to the varieties of the all crops that are specified under the Act. And there is no provision of benefit sharing. Here, there is a provision of sharing the benefits. Next, tiger conservation in India. Recently, the status of tiger report was released by the NTCA, Status of Tigers, Co-Predators and Prey in India 2022 report. So, according to this report, let's look into the report in detail. So, according to this report, the upper limit of the tiger population is now estimated to be 3,925, and the average number is 3,682. So, it means it's greater than 3,500. And the states with highest number of the tigers are first is Madhya Pradesh, next Karnataka, Uttarakhand, Maharashtra, and Tamil Nadu. Next, the reserve. Okay, reserve with highest tiger population is being Jim Corbett Tiger Reserve in Uttarakhand. Next is Bandipur, Nagarhole, Bandhavgarh, and Dudhwa. And tiger reserves that are having no tigers are Dampa, Kamlang, Kaval, Satkosia, and Sahyadri Reserve. So in 2018, the population of the tigers was 2,967. Now it is 3,682. And the states with the lowest number of tigers are Nagaland, Mizoram, Jharkhand, Goa, and Arunachal. Okay. So some of the observations of the report are there are 53 tiger reserves comprising 2.3% of the total lands area, and India is home for 75% of the world's wild tiger population, and central India and Shivalik Hills and Gangetic Plains witnessed a increase in tiger population, and techniques used are M stripes. M stripes uses a GPS system to collect the information of the tigers, camera trap based capture mark and recapture, and also extracting of the DNA. Okay, different molecular tools are used. Next, management effectiveness evaluation of the tiger reserves, MEE. So what is this MEE? Here itself it says evaluation of the tiger reserves. So NTCA has released this MEE's fifth assessment report. So according to this, what is this MEE? MEE is just it just evaluates how the tiger reserves are being maintained. Okay. So in terms of design and planning, adequacy and appropriateness, and even delivery. Okay, so about MEE, it is to assess the tiger reserves nationwide, and it was first started in the 2006 year, and it was jointly conducted by the NTCA and Wildlife Institute of India, and it was a fifth cycle. It was a fifth cycle, recently released first one, fifth cycle, and the framework for assessing the management MEE for protected areas was given by IUCN and National Resources World Commission on Protected Areas. So it gave the framework. According to that, India started MEE. So what is MEE? Assessment of the protected areas. So about the fifth cycle, what are the insights into the fifth cycle data? 51 tiger reserves were evaluated, so as of now in our country there are 53 tiger reserves. Two tiger reserves which are newly added are not evaluated. What are those two tiger reserves? Ramgarh Vishtari and Ranipur. Okay, so out of this 51 tiger reserves, the Periyar Tiger Reserve in Kerala has been ranked the best maintained tiger reserve. Okay, and the MEE score has also been increased from 65% to 78% now, and 12 tiger reserves have ranked in the excellent category, So there are different categories. In excellent category, 12 tiger reserves, and very good category 21 tiger reserves, and good category 13 tiger reserves, and fair category 5 tiger reserves. So most of the number being in very good category 21 tiger reserves. And none of the tiger reserves in our country has been categorized as poor. Okay, the headline indicator carbon capture and climate change received the lowest score in. There are different indicators in capturing the data. One of the indicator being carbon capture and climate change got the lowest score. Okay, that's it. And recently, after the measure of the center merged the Project Tiger and Project Elephant. So these both projects were merged recently. After the measure, so the new division is named as Project Tiger and Elephant Division, which has been created under the Ministry of Environment and Forest. And the staff and divisional heads of the PE Project Elephant will now report the Additional Director General of the Forest and of the Project Tiger, who has been now designated as ADGF, Additional Director General of Forests of Project Tiger and Elephant. Next, Forest Conservation Amendment Bill of 2023. So again a new bill, which is going to replace the earlier Act of Forest Conservation Act of 1980. So for us earlier it was under a concurrent list, but later shifted to, sorry, earlier it was a state list. Okay, it was under the state list, but it was shifted to concurrent list through 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act of 1976 in 7th schedule. So this Forest Conservation Act of 1980 put some restrictions on the de-reservation of the forest. You cannot declare a forest area as a non-forest area. So while declaring such, they have put some restrictions. Okay, so now the new bill, proposed bill has been okay. The bill has been passed, so now it is called as an act. Okay, so the new act is named as One Sanrakshan Evam Samvardhan Adhiniyam. Okay, Forest Conservation and Augmentation Act of 1980. So the what is the aim of this bill? It is to increase the forest cover. Okay, so what are the key amendments? Amendments are addition of a preamble. A preamble was added to this act, uh, and there was also under this preamble they have mentioned few targets such as net zero emission by 2070 and creating a carbon sink of an additional 2.5 to 3 billion tons of carbon dioxide equivalent by 2030. Next, coverage. The land covered under the provisions of the act includes okay, what kind of different types of land are covered under the act? Okay, one, a land declared or notified as a forest under the Indian Forest Act of 1927 or any other forest laws, and land recorded in the government records as forest. And this land recorded under the government records does not include the land which has been officially changed from forest use to non-forest purposes before 1996. Okay, next, exempted few categories of land like tree plantation and reforestation that has been raised on few lands which were not explicitly covered under the act is okay, they have been exempted. Next, addition of few activities were also included in the forestry activities. So uh, earlier, these few activities were considered as non-forest activities. Now they are being considered as forest activities. What are those activities? Establishment of zoos and safaris and ecotourism facilities, silvicultural operations, and any other purposes that has been specified by the central government. Uniformity in the assignment or leasing of the forest land. The state governments now require prior approval of the central government. If assigned earlier, they used to assign to the private entities, but now I mean, earlier, if the land was assigned to the private entities, then they have to get a prior approval from the central government. But now, even if it is assigned to the government authorities or government entities, even then they have to get an approval from the central government. And it has also been for central government has further been empowered to specify the terms and conditions for any survey to be conducted, and also terms and conditions for the exempted lands, and also issue directions to any government authority. Okay, these are the exempted lands and projects. Okay, exempted projects include connectivity to habitation or to a rail or a roadside amenity, projects of national importance and concerning national security, construction of security related infrastructure, defense projects, and paramilitary camps or public utility projects, and extent of exemption. Okay, up to what range those lands can be exempted are forest land up to 0.10 hectares along the rail line or public road maintained by the government, and forest land within 100 kilometers of the international borders or the line of control or line of actual control. Forest land up to 10 hectares and forest land up to 5 hectares in a left-wing extremism affected area. These lands are also exempted. Okay, that's it. And next one, GRAP, Graded Response Action Plan. So this Graded Response Action Plan was first announced by the when was this introduced? Okay, this uh, plan was introduced first under the Environment Protection Act of 1986, and this was first introduced in 2017. Okay, so this was followed by a Supreme Court's judgment regarding the air quality in Delhi region. So this is an emergency response system based on Delhi's air quality index level. So this graph is confined to the Delhi. Okay, so recently the CAQM Commission for Air Quality Management in NCR and other adjoining areas announced that the existing GRAP has to be revised to decrease the level of the pollution. So what is the CAQM? So the CAQM is a statutory body which was first established in 2020 under this CAQM in NCR and adjoining areas of Act of 2021, and so that's it. And according to the notification, uh, okay, earlier when Grab was first introduced, it was under the authority of the Environment Pollution and Control Authority, but now CAQM is taking over it. I mean, CAQM is implementing since 2021. So since October 2022, GRAB has been enforced based on the AQI, Air Quality Index. Earlier, the old version was based only on PM 2.5 and PM 10 levels, but now they have included pollutants like uh, NOx, ozone, SOx, carbon monoxide, ammonia, lead, etc. So these are the different stages based on the level of the air quality index. The stages are mentioned like poor, very poor, severe, severe plus, and based on this quality, different actions are being, different policies and different actions are to be taken. Okay, that's it. And next one is plastic pollution. Recently, the Prime Minister has called on the G20 nations to work constructively for an effective international legally binding instrument to end plastic pollution. So, recently, as per the report of the this 2023 Plastic Overshoot Day report, which was released by the Swiss-based research consultancy called as Earth Action, according to it, July 28, 2023 saw the first plastic overshoot day. Earth first plastic overshoot day, and India saw its plastic overshoot day on 6th January 2023. India is among the 12 countries that are responsible for the 52% of the world's mismanaged plastic waste. And overshoot day is the day when the generation of the plastic waste exceeds the capacity of the waste management, and it is based on the mismanaged waste index. And few of the initiatives which were taken to curb the plastic pollution include Plastic Waste Management Amendment Rules of 2021. And under this amendment rules, the thickness of the plastic carry bags was increased from 50 to 75 microns on that is from 30th September 2021, and then it was further increased to 120 microns from the 31st December 2022. It also extended the producer responsibility guidelines and which were made applicable to the plastic producers. Okay, private sector collaborations include like India Plastics Pact and UN Plastics Collective, etc. And UNEA's resolution to end the plastic pollution, etc. Next, blue economy. Recently a G20 summit concluded with adoption of Chennai high-level principles, which are regarding the blue economy. So the Chennai high-level principles include majorly call for monitoring and evaluation mechanisms of the blue economy, enhance the ocean finance, promote use of the marine spatial planning, and also to address the marine pollution and reverse biodiversity loss, recognize and protect indigenous and traditional knowledge. About blue economy, yes, SDG 14 and India having 7,517-kilometer long coastline and 12 major ports and exclusive zone of India. India's exclusive economic zone is over 2 million square kilometers. That's it, not much important in that. Next, resource efficiency circular economy industry coalition. RECEIC was launched at the G20's fourth Environment and Climate Sustainability Working Group meeting. So in this meeting, this RECEIC was launched. So this RECEIC is a industry-driven initiative comprising 39 companies as its founding members, and key agenda are like implementation of the 2030 agenda for the sustainable development goals and goals under Paris Agreement to be achieved, and also goals under the Kunming Montreal Global Biodiversity Framework, Kigali Amendments, and Resource Efficiency Dialogue Roadmap, and other relevant international goals. Okay, three guiding pillars of this coalition include partnerships for the impact, and enhancing the capabilities and technology, and investments on the scale. Okay, it also aims to promote the involvement of the MSMEs, okay, and some unorganized sectors too. Next, IMO strategy on reduction of greenhouse gas emissions from the ships 2023. Recently, International Maritime Organization has adopted a strategy on reduction of GHG emissions from the ships. So, what are the different technologies used to reduce the emissions of the GHGs? Closed loop scrubber. Closed loop scrubber employs this technology employs seawater with added alkalis such as sodium hydroxide to scrub the exhaust gases, and select catalytic reduction reduces the tailpipe emissions of nitrogen oxides down to near zero levels, and slow steaming, the process of deliberately reducing the speed of the ships, thereby cutting down the consumption of the carbon emissions. So these are the different technologies. Like you can remember this, like closed loop scrubber and selective catalytic reduction and slow steaming. And under this strategy, the this strategy was adopted by the Marine Environment Protection Committee, which is an important committee under International Maritime Organization. And if we look at the data of the GHGs that were emitted by the shipping industry, which account nearly 2.89% of the anthropogenic emissions, which include carbon dioxide, black carbon, nitrogen oxides, and nitrous oxides. Key provisions of the strategy include reduce the emissions, like reduce CO2 emissions by at least 40% by 2030 as compared to 2008, and peak GHG emissions from international shipping as soon as possible, and reach net zero GHG emissions by or around 2050. Improving the energy efficiency and also technology adoption and periodic review, like 5-yearly review. And though, yeah, this strategy is not a legally binding strategy. Other efforts which were taken up to reduce the emissions from the ships include the Ministry of Ports and Shipping has released Harit Sagar Green Port Guidelines of 2023. And India has been selected as the first country under the IMO's Green Voyage 2050 project. And Maritime Vision 2030 provides a sustainable maritime sector. And certain ports are to be developed as hydrogen hubs. And next center has set a target of 2030 to become a global hub for green shipping. And Ministry of Ports and Shipping also launched this Green Tech Transition Program. At global level, Clyde Bank Declaration of Green Shipping Corridors, of which India is not a signatory, and financing sustainable maritime transport, FinSmart, which is a roundtable initiative by IMO, EBRD, and World Bank, and Global Maritime Technologies Cooperation Centers (MTCC) network by European Union and International Maritime Organization, and IMO CARES Foundation project. Wind energy. Recently, the Standing Committee released a report on the wind energy evaluation of wind energy in India. There are different types of wind energy, onshore and offshore. Onshore being present on the land, offshore being present on the water. Okay, few important points are, yeah, steps taken by the government to promote the wind energy. National Offshore Wind Energy Policy of 2015, mesoscale map of wind potential, which was done by National Institute of Wind Energy, and next National Wind Solar Hybrid Policy of 2018, and next incentive schemes like, for example, generation based incentive. Okay, next waiver of interstate transmission system charges. That's it. And next, crop residue management guidelines. Recently, Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare has revised the guidelines for the crop residue management. So the guidelines now are going to enable the efficient ex situ management of the paddy straw that is generated in Punjab, Haryana, UP, and Delhi. Ex situ means, in situ means on site. Ex situ means transported from one site to another site, and then they are processing it at another site. Okay, so burning of the crop residues result in the emissions like CH4, methane, carbon monoxide, nitrogen oxide, nitrous oxides, particulate matter, etc. And key features of the guidelines which were given by the Ministry of Agriculture and Farmer Welfare. Okay, include techno-commercial project for paddy straw supply chain will be established, and the financial assistance on the capital cost of the machinery will be provided, and this financial assistance include 65% by the central government and the state government, and 25% by to be provided by the industry, and the remaining 10% the farmers, like farmers, rural entrepreneurs, farmer producer organizations, etc. Okay, this financial assistance will also be extended to the machines and equipment. Next, ex-situ management of the crop residue, biomass pellets as a fuel substitution, and production of the compressed biogas. Alcohol production can also be done from paddy straw, other etc. Next, carbon credit trading scheme, CCTS. Ministry of Power has notified the CCTS. So this CCTS was introduced to reduce the emissions by 45% from 2005 levels by 2030. So this is one of the target of the Panchamrit targets, which was launched by our Prime Minister Modi at COP26. So CCTS was first announced under the Energy Conservation Act of 2001. Highlights of the what is the CCTS? The CCTS consists of the National Steering Committee, which is also known as Indian Carbon Market Governing Board, and it is to oversee the functions of the Indian carbon market. Next, Bureau Energy Efficiency will be the administrator, which sets the targets for the reduction in emission. Also, it also issues the carbon credit certificates, etc. Central Electricity Regulatory Commission will regulate all the trading activities, and Grid Controller of India will be the registry of the ICM. ICM is Indian Carbon Market. Okay, next, India Climate Energy Dashboard 3.0. Recently, Niti Aayog released this ICED 3.0. This ICED is a one-stop platform for real-time data based on energy sector, climate, and related economic data sets, etc. And it is a user-friendly platform which can be accessed and freely. So anyone can access and analyze the data. World Meteorological Organizations ozone and ultraviolet bulletin. This ozone and ultraviolet bulletin was released by the WMO, and the bulletin highlighted steady recovery of the ozone layer, and after a gap of 7 years. Okay, some of the highlights of the report include Montreal Protocol has been successfully uh, eliminated up to 99% of the ozone depleting substances, and these ozone depleting substances are the long-lived man-made chemicals, and Hunger Happy volcano eruption, okay, which occurred in January 2022, has increased the water vapor content in the stratosphere by 5 to 10%. Nearly 90% of the Earth's ozone resides in the stratosphere. So yeah, this Hunger Happy volcanic eruption increased it, and Montreal Protocol successfully eliminated nearly 99%. And these ozone depleting substances are the man-made chemicals, long-lived. Next, climate change impact on animal communication. Recently, they also studied that there is a animals communicate through chemical communication, also known as infochemicals. Okay, infochemicals are like hormones, pheromones, and allelochemicals, etc. They have different communication mechanisms. Due to climate change, their communication mechanisms are also being adversely affected. Next, flora and fauna database. Recently, India added 664 animal species to its fauna database and 339 taxa to its flora base database. So this list was given by the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, and the faunal discoveries are compiled by the Geological Survey of India, floral by the Botanical Survey of India. And some of the maximum number of discoveries of flora and fauna were being made at Kerala, and some of the key fauna and flora discovered are uh, Mininoterus philippsi, which is a long-fingered bat, which is a bamboo-dwelling bat found in Meghalaya. Sela macaco, it was discovered in Arunachal Pradesh. And next, white-cheeked macaco, it was also discovered in Arunachal Pradesh. Yellow-rumped flycatcher, which is found in India on Narkondam Island of Andaman. Next, Calanthera lamellosa, which is an orchid species found in India in Japfu mountain range in Kohima, that is in Nagaland. Nanda Devi Pusalkar uh, in Uttarakhand Himalayas, and Nilgiriella Pusalkar, it is also present in Western Ghats. This Zoological Survey of India was established in 1916. Botanical Survey of India was established in 1890. Next, Gambusia affinis. Gambusia affinis was recently it was in news because this is a fish species. Okay, recently Andhra Pradesh released this Gambusia fish into the state's water bodies to combat the mosquito-borne diseases like malaria and dengue. So, what is this Gambusia fish do? They eat the larvae of the mosquitoes. So, this is a kind of biological control of mosquitoes. Okay, and now there is a concern being growing that this Gambusha fishes, which is not native to India, has become an invasive species. Next, cryptobiosis. Recently, scientists brought microscopic worms which were frozen in Siberia for 46,000 years back into life. Now they have brought them back into life. Okay, so when they are frozen, this cryptobiosis means when the organism goes into a very frozen stage that there is no sign of life. Okay, okay, the organisms can completely survive without the water and oxygen, and this is defined as a temporary death of an organism. Okay, microscopic worms. Okay, next, Bahubali cattle fence. So this is a bamboo fence which was planned by the Ministry of Road Transport and Highway along the highways in India. It is to prevent cattle from crossing the road, and this bamboo was treated using creosote oil, and also coated with a recycled HDP, high density polyethylene, so making it as a stronger alternative to steel. Okay, next, Salsola oppositifolia desfontania. Okay, this is a new species of plant belonging to the Amaranthaceae family. So it was recently discovered, and this plant, okay, this is a shrub that grows usually in saline, arid, and semi-arid environments of Gujarat's Kutch region, and it is a prostrate. Prostrate means which is a woody plant, and it doesn't have any hairs. Okay. Next, holobionts. Holobionts. Recently, the animals and plants are no longer heralded as autonomous entities, but rather as biomolecular networks composed of the host plus its associated microbes called as holobionts. Holobionts means host plus microbes. Means, see, we cannot, according to this, what they are saying is all microbes and different animals and plants stay in a symbiotic relationship. You cannot individually specify or categorize as animals or plants. Okay, they do not work independently. They communicate with other organisms, other microbes, and other living forms, thereby creating a network of communication in a nature. Example, bacteria of that is present in the legumes roots, and such collective genomes are called as hologenome. Next, Global Assessment Report on Disaster Risk Reduction 2023 was released by the United Nations Office on Disaster Risk Reduction, and the theme of this report being mapping resilience for sustainable development goals. And according to this report, the number of disasters has been increased nearly fivefold in the last 15 years, and 80% of the increase in the risk of the crop failure and hunger especially was found in sub-Saharan African and Southeast Asia due to drought. And one of the global's best practice being Sile's Great Green Wall. Okay, that's it. And next, scheme for expansion and modernization of fire services in the states. So this scheme was launched by the Union Ministry of Home Affairs, and this was launched from the earmarked allocation of the Preparedness and Capacity Building Funding window under the National Disaster Response Fund. And this National Disaster Response Fund was introduced or constituted under the Disaster Management Act of 2005, and the scheme is based on the recommendation of the 15th Finance Commission, and it allows this 12.5% of allocation to each of the NDRF and to the SDRF for funding the window of preparedness and capacity building. Okay, so the and objectives of the scheme are to modernize the fire services and to create an NDRF corpus of rupees 5,000 crore for expanding and modernization of the fire services. And also, the respective state government must provide 25% of the total project cost from their budgetary resources to get this fund. Next, earthquake swarm. Earthquake swarm. 2,200 earthquakes were observed in the Iceland in 24 hours. Okay, so Iceland is the Europe's largest and most active volcanic region, and it is present on the mid-Atlantic ridge. And these are the some of the volcano peaks which need to be remembered, which are present in Iceland. Mount Fagradal Fall. Okay, see, okay, just to see these names. These names are really complex. That's it. And earthquake swarms are those which are sequences of many earthquakes occurring in a short period, and they often occur at a shallow depth. Next, shelf cloud. Shelf cloud was recently witnessed in Uttarakhand. Shelf clouds are also known as Arcus clouds, are often associated with the powerful storm systems and are also reported as wall clouds, funnel clouds, etc. And they are sometimes also seen beneath the cumulonimbus clouds, the dense towering vertical clouds that cause intense rain. and it is also formed when a cloud downdraft from a cumulonimbus cloud reaches the ground. So these are the shelf clouds. Okay, they cause storms and heavy rainfall. Karst Plateau. Karst Plateau, also known as Patthar or also known as Valley of Flowers, present in Satara district of Maharashtra. Don't get confused it with Valley of Flowers National Park, which is present in Uttarakhand. That is different and this is different. This is in Maharashtra. Okay, Karst Plateau in Western Ghats. So the name Karst Plateau, when we look at the name, the karst was derived from the tree name Kasa. Okay, and this plateau is named after igneous rocks. And this plateau has been inscribed in the UNESCO World Natural Heritage Site list under the Western Ghats. Uralite. Okay, Uralite. Recently, the study suggested that Dhala crater, which is present in Madhya Pradesh, has been resulted from the correlation of a meteorite known as Uralite some 2000 to 2500 to 700, 1700 million years ago. So, due to the collision that was happened millions of years ago, this Dhala crater, which is present now in Madhya Pradesh, was a result. So it is the Asia's largest and world's seventh largest impact crater. And some of the other major impact craters that are present in India are Ramgarh in Rajasthan and Lonar in Maharashtra. We also have this Lonar Lake in Maharashtra. Uralites are a class of primitive meteorites that constitute tiny fraction of the meteorites on the Earth. Anthropocene epoch. Scientists say that Anthropocene epoch has been began in the 1950s itself. And how did they confirm it? After the studying the Crawford Lake, which was present in Canada. This Crawford Lake was chosen because of its meromictic because it is meromictic. Meromictic means the water layers present in the lake do not mix. So, by observing the different layers in the lake, they have come to a conclusion that Anthropocene epoch has been started in 1950s itself. Okay, after that, Earth has undergone many radical changes due to human impact. And this Anthropocene epoch, the name was first coined by the Nobel Prize winner Paul Crutzen. Okay, next, officially now we are in Phanerozoic eon, Cenozoic era, Quaternary period, Holocene epoch, and the Megalayan age. Megalayan age, which began 4,200 years ago. Why this Megalayan age name came? Because of the mega drought that caused uh, mega drought that caused and which collapsed nearly many civilizations. And they found the proof of this drought at Mamlu cave in Meghalaya. So that's why they gave the name Meghalayan age. Next, moving on to the social issues. Social issues, right-based approach for the development. Recently, the Rajasthan government introduced Rajasthan minimum guaranteed income bill of 2023. So this bill proposes to guarantee a minimum income in the form of a guaranteed wage or through a pension, be it a guaranteed wage or through a pension to both urban and rural levels. And it is also in line with the Article 38 Clause 2 of DBSPs, which is to minimize inequalities, and also in line with the Article 41, which provides right to work of the directive principles of state policy DBSPs. Okay. Next, about right-based approach. Some of the principles of the right-based approach include participation of the people, accountability, non-discrimination and equality, empowerment, and legality. Okay, it should be very inclusive. Okay, that's it. And water, sanitation, and hygiene, WASH. Recently, WHO, World Health Organization, has released a report named Burden of Disease Attributable to Unsafe Drinking Water, Sanitation, and Hygiene. Okay, according to this, WASH was a collective term for water, sanitation, and hygiene. Is related to the access to safe drinking water, improved sanitation facilities and maintaining basic level of the hygiene. SDG 6, which also provides for clean water and sanitation. Major initiatives which were taken by India for WASH are Water related initiatives are WQMIS, Water Quality Management Information System, Jal Jeevan Mission, which was also appreciated by the World Health Organization report, and Namami Gange program. Regarding sanitation includes Swachh Bharat Mission, Grameen and both urban, and regarding hygiene, promotion of the menstrual hygiene among the adolescent girls, and some of the other initiatives include Rural Wash Partners Forum and Atal Mission Amrit program, and global initiatives include World Health Organization's WASH strategy of 2018 to 25, UNICEF strategy for WASH 2016 to 2030, and UN Sanitation and Hygiene Fund, which was launched in 2020, and Sanitation and Water for All initiative, which was hosted by the UNICEF in global partnership with the government and civil society organizations. Next, World Food Program and Global Food Crisis. This year, World Food Program has received funding half for its operation. Okay, so this World Food Program, having its headquarters at Rome, Italy, and it is a joint initiative of the United Nations and Food and Agriculture Organization, founded in the year 1961, and it is entirely funded by the voluntary donations, and it also got Nobel Prize for Peace in the year 2020, and India has been functioning it since 1963. So, due to funding crunch, so its activities now also will get impacted. Okay, so that is it. Mm. Okay, other related information and World Food Programs works in India include regarding the PDS system, initiatives and innovative solutions such as Annapurti, which is an automatic grain dispersion ATM for rice, was introduced, and fortification scheme, and food insecurity mapping and monitoring. Okay. Uh, Next, urbanization and agri-food system. State of food security and nutrition in the world. So SOFI report 2023 was recently released, and this report is an annual report jointly prepared by the FAO, IFAD, UNICEF, World Food Program, and World Health Organization. Some of the findings of this report include 122 million more people are facing hunger since 2019. Since 2019, the number of people facing hunger has increased by 122 million. Okay, nearly 22.3% children were stunted, 6.8 were wasted, and 5.6% were overweight. And this SOFI report uh, emphasized on different aspects of the changing agri-food systems amid urbanization. Okay, like due to urbanization, more number of processed foods are being eaten, and food value chains and the food market has been expanded, and there is a radical change in the consumption. Due to this, there are different adverse consequences like high cost of nutritious foods, and malnutrition has become a common thing, and etc. Next, performance grading index for school education system, PGI. So recently, the Ministry of Education has released two reports, PGI 2.0 for states and UTs, and PGI for districts. So it has released two reports, one for states and UTs, and another one is for districts by Ministry of Education. And this report is based on the data assessed on the performance of the school education system. That took the reports from the UDICE Plus Unified District Information System for Education, and NAS, National Achievement Survey report. Okay, they have taken the data from both these surveys, and they have prepared this report, and it has classified the states or UTs into 10 grades. Okay, based on the decreasing grades, like Daksh, highest grade, and last being Akanshi, third is the lowest grade, and under the PGI 2.0, which is released for the states and UTs, uh, none of the states has achieved this Daksh Daksh category. Okay, the highest grade. Okay, and even even in sorry, excuse me, even in Utkarsh and Anti-Uttam and Ati-Uttam, Uttam, there have been no state or UT achieved in that category. The highest grade being Prachesta 2, that too by Punjab and Chandigarh. Next, mother tongue in foundational education. Recently, the CBSE uh, has directed the affiliated schools to consider Indian languages as optional mediums of instruction to promote the multilingual education. So, this promotion of this mother tongue education is in line with Article 350A of the Constitution, according to which the government must try to ensure that children from linguistic minority groups are educated in their mother tongue. And India also uh, enacted this RT Act of 2009, according to which the medium of instruction in school should be the child's mother tongue as far as possible. And Indian language, the CBSE advised that uh, using of any Indian language which is present listed in the Schedule 8 of the Constitution should be an optional language from pre-primary classes till class 12. Okay, this is in line with the National Education Policy of 2020. And that's it. Some of the initiatives which are taken for promotion of the mother tongue include National Curricular Framework 2022 for foundational stages, which recommends the usage of the mother tongue, and National Translation Mission for translating many textbooks in into the languages of the eighth schedule, and Nipun Bharat Mission, which suggests that mother tongue in teaching, learning process, and learning material. That's it. And the Paths to Equal report. The Paths to Equal report was released by the UNDP and UN Women, and the entire title being The Paths to Equal 20 Indices on Women's Empowerment and Gender Equality Report. Okay, this report introduces two new indices: Global Gender Parity Index, which evaluates the status of women relative to the men in different dimensions regarding the health, education, financial inclusion, and decision making, and the other index being Women's Empowerment Index. So, under this report, they have introduced two indices. First one being GGPI, and the other being WEI, regarding the Women's Empowerment Global Gender Parity Index. Okay, so this Women's Empowerment Index and GGPI uh, both have similar things, but additionally, they have also included the violence, freedom from violence. Okay, new dimension, freedom from violence. That's the key findings of the reports include there is no country which has achieved full gender parity. Okay. In India, the gender parity was low despite medium human development. Okay. This UN Women, it was established in year 2010, and it is to support the intergovernmental bodies and in the formulation of the policies, global standards and norms, and also to help the member states to implement these standards, and also to forge effective partnership with civil society, and also to hold the UN system accountable for its own commitments on gender equality. Freedom from violence, which was a new, okay, which was newly added dimension. Okay, our freedom from violence. Nearly 245 million women are victims of physical, sexual violence from an intimate partner each year. Next, Sustainable Development Goals Progress Report 2023. SDG Progress Report 2023 was which was released by the UN. It is a special edition by the UNDESA, United Nations Department on Economic and Social Affairs, regarding the progress in achieving the SDGs. According to it, this SDG as an agenda consists of 17 goals and 169 targets. Key findings of the report include there is a progress on more than 50% of the targets in SDGs. Okay, sorry. The progress on more than 50% of targets of the SDGs is very weak. Okay, and nearly 50% of targets progress is very weak. and 30% of targets have been stalled or even gone into reverse. Okay, means even become worse. And triple crisis like climate change, biodiversity, and pollution are having a lasting impact after the COVID-19 pandemic. And few of the areas which need urgent action include, uh, like financing, for example, Addis Ababa Action Agenda. Okay, next target policies and actions, etc. UN this, huh? It is guided by transformative 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. It upholds the development pillar of the UN. Next, it is also important to note these reports: Population and Vital Statistics Report, World Youth Report, World Social Report, World Economic Situation and Prospectus Report, etc. Two new health bills which were passed in the Parliament: National Nursing and Midwifery Commission Bill 2023 and the National Dental Commission Bill of 2023 were recently introduced. Okay, regarding the nursing and midwifery and then dental commission. Okay, so the bills are on the lines of the National Medical Commission, which aims to improve access to the quality and affordable medical education, and the NDC Bill 2023 aims or seeks to repeal the Dentist Act of 1948. See, 1948 was very old act. Okay, so this NMC has introduced this bill to regulate the dental education, and it also provides an exit test. Okay, exit test for dentists in the lines with the national exit test. An NNMC bill, which is for nursing and midwifery, is going to replace the Indian Nursing Council Act of 1947, and even this is also an old act. Okay, and this provides for an establishment of the NNMC to frame the policies and regulate the standards, and also provide a uniform mechanism for admission. And why is there a need? Because there is a need to revamp and restructure the Dental Council of India, and also the nurse to population ratio in India is only 2.06 for 1,000 people, whereas a global benchmark was 3 nurses for 1,000 people. Institutional Development Plan for Higher Education Institutions. Recently, UGC passed guidelines for the Institutional Development Plan. So, this under this new educational policy, the this new education policy recognizes the importance of the institutional development policy and recommends that each institution should make a strategic institutional development plan. Okay, some of the guidelines which were introduced under this framework include the physical infrastructure should support the academic and research activities of various schools, etc., and should move towards digital universities, and propose a fast track promotion system for the faculty members. And it says nearly 50% of the total faculty requirement can be contractual, etc. And okay, next we have this science and technology and culture part. I think I'll better do this as a part 3. Okay, if I'm uploading, okay, okay, I'll do this as a part 3, and yeah, this is enough for this. So, thank you for watching. Bye.